Omnibus lovers, look deep into my eyes and see all the sins of your past, or whatever it is that the Ghost Rider says. Because today we're taking a look at the Cosmic Ghost Rider Omnibus, Volume 1. So let's jump right into the book, and I'll let you know what I think about it.
Pay no attention to the fact that we're randomly in my kitchen, and instead look at the wonderful spine on this book with that volume 1 right there, looking good, looking good. To me, there was an absolute clear choice of cover here, and it was, hey, if you're presented with the opportunity to get baby Thanos on an omnibus cover, then you have to get the baby Thanos omnibus cover. It's funny, I like it, it looks great, it's cute in a way, it's awesome. So that's why I got this cover, and I really like the choice I made. And we've got a more typical back for modern omnibuses here, not showcasing all the issues, just, Frank Castle levels up. Okay, so here it is in all its glory, the Cosmic Ghost Rider Omnibus. A really well-crafted book, if I may say so. This book collects Thanos number 13 through 18, which is the Thanos Wins storyline, Thanos Annual number 1, Cosmic Ghost Rider 1 through 5, Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History 1 through 6, Guardians of the Galaxy, the 2019 series 1 through 6, Avengers, the 2018 series 22 through 25, Revenge of the Cosmic Ghost Rider 1 through 5, and material from Thanos Legacy number 1 and Wolverine Black, White, and Blood number 3. So, Cosmic Ghost Rider. Who is that, and why should you care? Well, this is the minorest of spoilers, and it seems like anyone picking this up would know this by now anyway, but Cosmic Ghost Rider is a future version of Frank Castle, the Punisher, who not only made a deal with Mephisto to become the Ghost Rider, but also made a deal with Galactus to become his herald, so he's got all those hell powers of the Ghost Rider, and he's also imbued with the cosmic energies of a Herald of Galactus would have. And he has lived a long life full of never-ending tragedy, death, and destruction, and he's lost his mind a little bit too by this point. Since it is set in the future, then, it bounces around time, but mostly set in the future. So I was thankful to see, by the way, that he wasn't as edgy as the Punisher can be at times in this story. I've personally never been a huge Frank Castle fan, mostly because I feel like the stories aren't ever really that inventive. It's kind of the same thing over and over. And I think, like I said, it's hard for writers to pivot from like the super edgelord, gotta kill you in the most grotesque way possible Punisher archetype, which I mean, that still does happen in this, but it's done in a way that I prefer, I think. This was really enjoyable, and it's also kind of like, it's half a Thanos omnibus, half a Ghost Rider omnibus, really. And it's kind of essentially a tale about how those two's histories throughout time are kind of like intrinsically woven together, due in part to the permanence of the personification of Death, who, I might add, I really like Death's design in this. She's giving off big goth girl vibes, and, I can understand why Thanos would want to, decimate the entire universe for a shot at that. Just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Fair warning, though, this is almost entirely a cosmic time travel story, so if you're not into like the space stuff or the time travel stuff, then you might not enjoy it as much as someone else would. But I'd say still give it a chance, because it's probably one of the better written omnibuses when it comes to like the actual prose of it. And it's crafted in this like very poignant and poetic way, and the words and art together really help illustrate the concepts of legacy, death, and life, and the meanings that we attribute to life, and all of that. I've also heard people say this omnibus is really funny, and that always scares me a bit when I hear that, because I start thinking it's going to be like emanating big Deadpool vibes, who's another character I feel is rarely done well, and maybe it's just that his comedic stylings usually don't mesh well with what I enjoy in a comic book. But I was surprised that I didn't find this to be that funny, and I don't mean that as a slight to it, because it was absolutely entertaining and engaging the whole way through. But luckily, it wasn't like the silly random humor. Everything that was funny and entertaining about it felt purposeful, and was fascinating and sad at times. So maybe I'm missing something with the big talking points, that this is like a rip-roaring, slap-your-knee type comedy storyline. But yeah, that's my takeaway at least. I was also excited to see that this book, of course, talks about the concept of obsession a lot, and what that can do to a person, and why it's got its positives at times, and mostly why it's got its faults. But another concept that was discussed a lot in here was rehabilitation, which I found super interesting from a Punisher story. I guess also from a Thanos story. But a lot of it deals with like, are bad people destined to be bad, or can we do things to try and change that? are like the damned truly eternally damned, or do they deserve their own like distinctive chances at redemption? I mean, it's really fascinating stuff hidden under a layer of fun, space, time travel, brutal comic book action goodness. So this should interest you in one way or the other. I mean, if you're interested in Ghost Rider, pick it up. If you're interested in The Punisher, absolutely pick it up. I think it's one of the better Punisher stories. If you're interested in Thanos, yes, pick it up, because seriously, so much of the content in here just has to do with Thanos, and especially in the top half, the first half of the omnibus, it like kind of just feels like a Thanos omnibus, and then Cosmic Ghost Rider is there in all these stories, but it feels like the main point of all the stories is about Thanos and like his obsession with death. And then, we move on in the omnibus, and it starts to get into the other stuff. And then there's a really fun storyline in here that I particularly enjoyed. And like I said, I had to get the cover with baby Thanos on it because it's so funny. But, I mean, if you're someone who likes something like The Mandalorian, which, by the way, is like the only Star Wars property I've seen, so we don't think I'm a big Star Wars fan, because I just like I've not been exposed to a lot of them, but I had to check out what all the Baby Yoda hype was, so I could just be like tapped into the pulse of the cultural zeitgeist and not feel like a complete outsider in that regard. And it was a really good series, but that is detracting from the point. My point is, if you liked The Mandalorian, you probably will also like that Baby Thanos storyline, because it's Ghost Rider and Baby Thanos, and they're sort of on their own distinctive quest. Things, I don't want to spoil anything that happens in it, but we learn some things, and we see some maybe variant futures and variant Thanoses and all that, and it's sort of like what the effect of Ghost Rider Frank Castle would have on that baby. So look, that's all I'm saying. I think you should definitely pick this omnibus up, and I'm really excited that there will be more stories to come from this, since it is just a volume 1. So we're going to get a volume 2 at some point, hopefully, unless this is like the Ultimate Spider-Man omnibus, where we just get the volume 1 and then we sit on it for like 10 years and don't get a volume 2. But I imagine we'll get a volume 2 for that one as well soon. But again, I'm detracting from the point. It's a really good omnibus, really great for the character of Thanos and Ghost Rider, and I'm really excited to see where they go in the future with it. Oh, and by the way, it is also worth noting, for those who are weary or hesitant of doing any double dipping, as I was, I didn't pick up the Marvel Cosmic by Donny Cates omnibus because I knew there would be a lot of overlap between these two omnibuses, and I prefer to have one that is not like just Marvel Cosmic. I prefer to have one that is a character-based one, like Cosmic Ghost Rider. So just know, there is a lot of overlap between these two omnibuses, a lot of shared material. If you can only get one or the other, I'd say get this one. And at the back of the book, as with most omnibuses, there are a bunch of extras. I noticed for this omnibus, the extras are primarily other artist covers or variant covers of some of the Cosmic Ghost Rider or Thanos issues in here. So it's kind of just this big array of artwork, a little artwork sampler, if you will. It's fun to look at. There's some good stuff back here worth checking out, just to feast your eyes on some new artwork. But thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm doing my best to grow this channel as well as I can, and I appreciate your help with that. Have a great rest of your day.